In this short episode, we're going to discuss what is the best strategy for a salary worker or a W-2 to earn financial independence. If you're interested in learning more, please continue listening. Welcome to the Red to Black podcast with the host Werner and Mario. And today we're discussing how, as a W-2 or salary worker, do you create financial independence? Mario, what are your thoughts?
It's about agency, Warner. It's about having your own agency and options. I would say there's 4 strategies that you want to put together as a salaried W-2 worker to build more agency. Number 1 is build a tribe. Have a tribe of dudes, women in your life that you could reach out to at any time. It should take you no more than 15 minutes to find a job. If you lose your job, you should constantly have your tribe either looking for jobs, having opportunities, or within that tribe, you have businesses that you could help row on. Number 2 is get debt free. Don't have a bunch of consumer debt. Don't have credit card debts. Don't have student loan debts. Don't have a huge mortgage on your balance sheet. Don't have a car note. Get debt free. There's some business debt that's okay. But most consumer debt is a horrible, horrible idea. You lack agency. You can't pivot. You can't leave your job because you're worried about making that debt payment. Number 3 would be passive income streams. Constantly be working on passive income streams. Even if you're in the office 10 hours a day, carve out some of that time. Sell the best hour back to yourself. If you're not actively busy, sell that hour back to yourself and create a passive income stream. 2 drops, 3 drops, 4 streams, five creeks. Now you got a river. You want to constantly be moving money back into yourself. And the last one, number 4, would be a producer, not a consumer. Look at your consumption. How much do you consume and how much do you produce? Always outproduce what you're consuming. Look at how much you're eating per month. Look at how much you're consuming in gasoline. Look at all your consumption. Clothes wear out. Vehicles wear out. Tires work out. Understand what you're consuming and also what you're producing. Always be producing way more than you're consuming.
Yeah, so those are great thoughts. And to kind of break each one of those down, when you're in a job, one of the things that great investors do is they really know how to create value. So one of the ways you can start learning how to do that is looking at your own value. Let's take an example of like a construction worker that works for $15 an hour versus a lawyer who makes $500 an hour. That lawyer provides a lot more value per hour than a construction worker at $15 an hour. It doesn't mean that one of them's better than the other person. It's just in terms of their financial value. One is more effective at creating value, like great business. So looking at your own value, instead of watching TV at night, how can you improve your skill sets to create more value and then use that value in the market to gain more money per hour? So think about creating more money per hour, because when you create that money, you save that money that you can later invest. Going to the second thing, which is debt. Debt is one of those things, if you look at a company or you look at a government, when you have too much debt, it takes productivity down. And here's why. You spend less time focusing and putting your resources towards like what you're creating or producing, and you put more of those resources towards paying off the individual from which you took debt or service or organization. So that's why Mario talks about that, because you want to be more efficient with your time, and having less debt provides you more time to focus on your creative pursuits. Number 3 is that cash flow. Now in the beginning, it seems really small, but as you grow it, it just gets bigger and bigger. And Mario and I are kind of confronted with that right now in our podcast, where we're creating these videos and we're getting like 19 views on YouTube. We know it's great quality content. And we also know, we keep telling ourselves that it starts off small. You have a certain amount of blog posts and YouTube videos out there, and they only hit a certain market. As it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you have more people coming in. You have a wider reach. That's the same thing with cash flow. When you have more streams, they start stacking on top of each other. So start with one stream, then get another stream, then another stream. And then finally, the last point that Mario was talking about is a simple balance sheet, or not a balance sheet, but an income statement. How much are you spending and how much are you making? And that's real simple. Those are sort of Mario's 4 points. And Mario, what are your thoughts on those 4 points that I just described in more detail?
Yeah, so the two engines are the networking and the passive income streams. Then there's the debt and the consumption, or the you got your debt. How much debt do you have? Is it good debt, bad debt? We can go down that rabbit hole another podcast, and then produce more than you consume. Pretty easy concepts. So I'll focus we'll drop the anchor on the networking and the passive income streams. Networking isn't going to some weird convention and talking to strangers that you don't know. It's cultivating friendships. Networking or building your tribe is building friendships. It's when you join a cycling club and you're riding your bike, you're talking to dudes, you're figuring out who they are, what they're about, their family members. You're constantly building your tribe of guys that care about you and that you care about them. People that you genuinely care about, you want to do life with. That's your tribe. A weird, awkward networking event where you're having a beverage with a stranger and passing cards, and the only thing that's happening is you're understanding what services they're trying to sell you, and they're understanding what services you're trying to sell them. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your tribe of very close friends / brothers that you do life with, that you go to war with every day, every week. And when you're at the coffee shop on the Saturday or Sunday, we get busy. Warner and I get busy during the week, but I'm constantly reaching out to Warner. I'm constantly reaching out to my friends on the weekends, texting them, calling them, staying in contact with them on social media. Use that as your quote unquote networking. It's really building friendships. It's really staying in contact with your tribe. Don't do this alone. And then on the passive income streams, use every hour you have free, use that to be working either on your W-2 income or or basically your passive income streams. And that can be networking, that could be research, that could be calling people that are in those business lines, seeing what they're working on, what projects they're working on. People like to talk about what they're working on. People like to brag about how well they're doing. Talk to your friends that are doing well. Associate with people that are doing well, and then call them and ask them. So you're on both tracks. It's parallel operations. I'm building my tribe and I'm building passive income stream by understanding how other people are doing this.
Yeah, so those are great points. To add to the importance of building friendships, there's one reason, because as you're building, say for example, you tell your friends, let's say for example of this talk, we have 10 good friends. If you're committed to let's say making $1 million in the next 10 years, well, if you keep that to yourself, those words in your mind, those beliefs, you're going to be on this solo mission to create it. If you share that with 10 people, then you have 10 advocates, as Mario says, individuals that actually have your back, who are actually, they're not thinking about it all the time, but if an opportunity comes across their plate, you've put those words in their mind. And that's the importance of what we've talked about in past podcasts, which is consistency. The reason why you want to be consistent, even with Mario and me building this podcast, is because you consistently put your ideas and your thoughts and what you're doing in people's minds. In the beginning, they're like, oh yeah, this is cool. And then as it grows, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But what people forget is that consistency. So consistently sharing with your friends, that's a key point, what you're out to create, because people will forget. And then that keeps it fresh in their mind. And then when they see opportunities, imagine you have 10 active individuals that are looking for opportunities for you, if you're really good at enrolling them in what you're creating and what it can also do for them as well as you. And then number two, the second point you talked about is effectively using your time. I know I used to watch too much TV. I would, at the end of a work week, construction, I would just sit right down in front of that thing and just zone out. And what I realized is I'm consuming, not producing. And that's what Mario's talking about. Always think about, can I replace consumption for producing? Because in the future, you can always, when you have tons of passive income streams, you can do what you like. Thank you so much for your time. And please leave your comments below. What we're doing now is first 5 questions we get in our comments, we're going to answer those questions in 2 minutes along a 10-minute episode. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future.